Think about these Republican senators, even the ones facing tough reelection fights this fall. We're a concern. No, I'm not talking about somebody else for the Supreme Court. No. What I'm talking about is how these Republican senators are talking the talk about their support for insurance protections for people with pre-existing medical conditions. Oh, yes. Here in Georgia, David Perdue, who's running for re-election, talks about his dedication to making sure there's coverage for pre-existing conditions sound like Holy Writ when the son of a bitch himself has voted every chance he gets to destroy the Affordable Care Act, the centerpiece of which, for a lot of people, is that part that addresses pre-existing conditions and provides insurance coverage for them. But these Republican senators up for re-election are lying through their teeth. The latest example, a few days ago when Senator Cory Gardner, Republican of Colorado, who has voted repeatedly to repeal the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare law that established those federal protections. But Cory Gardner, who's voted repeatedly to destroy it, released an emotional ad and in which he sits with his mother and discusses her successful battle with cancer. And Mom, looking directly at the camera, says this, quote, Cory wrote the bill to guarantee coverage to people with pre-existing conditions forever, end quote. And then Cory Gardner adds this, quote, no matter what happens to Obamacare, end quote. But the bill that he's talking about doesn't do that, according to the experts. See, Cory Gardner is one of several Republicans to try to hide or muddy up or obscure their record on pre-existing conditions. Because rising public support, I mean, let's face it, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Rising public support for Obamacare turns the issue into a liability for senators who have voted to repeal it. Isn't that every single rotten, filthy, fascist, Christian, white senator? Oh, maybe there's been one or two who haven't voted to repeal it. I know Senator McCain voted thumbs down. Anyway, as NBC reports, Republican senators are fighting to maintain control of the Senate chamber. And that's left many of these liars telling voters they favor the most popular provisions of the Affordable Care Act after they backed legislation that would have gutted the protections in Obamacare. But you have to understand, don't you, truth seekers, just like this filthy, filthy Mitch McConnell and this lying son of a bitch over in South Carolina, Graham Cracker, and all of these senators, listen to their lies just where it concerns the vacancy now on the Supreme Court because of the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. What they said back in 2017 and what they're saying now. Son of a bitches. Or 2016. Or 2015. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. A Merrick Garland nomination by Barack Obama. Oh, and by the way, Merrick Garland, okay, he was a Democrat, but he was a conservative. There were so many votes. Not votes, but decisions that he had issued as a federal judge, that progressives would have blanched at, just like, what? But we never got a chance to hear those, did we? But I digress. Anyway, the replacement that these Republican senators are talking about do not restore covering pre-existing conditions, among other things, in Obamacare, if Obamacare is declared unconstitutional. And here's a quote from a health policy expert at the conservative American Enterprise Institute, one Tom Miller, who said, quote, "When you're in retreat, it's best to do it slowly and not make it look like a complete spin around," end quote. When you're in retreat from the lies that you put out there. Oh, well, I'm going to take care of your mom. I know your mom had cancer and diabetes and heart disease, and I'm going to make sure when we destroy Obamacare that the pre-existing conditions thingy stays intact. In what, you lying bastard? If the entire Affordable Care Act is declared unconstitutional, which is what the Republicans and this orange bastard in the White House have been pushing for, then I mean, one little section about pre-existing conditions does not remain. Oh, my God. Anyway, Cory Gardner's, this is what it says at NBC. Gardner's 117-word-long legislation would require insurers, quote, to not impose any pre-existing condition exclusion or factor health status into premiums or charges. I don't know what that means. Now, that bill, Cory Gardner's bill, was introduced in August, but it's never received a hearing or a vote. So Mom's sitting there saying, Cory wrote the bill to guarantee coverage to people with pre-existing conditions forever. Well, so what? I mean, I can sit here and write that the world ends at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That doesn't mean it's going to. I mean, writing something down, well, what does that mean, especially if you're a senator? Anyway, Larry Levitt, the executive vice president for health policy at Kaiser Family Foundation, which is nonpartisan, Levitt said the Gardner's bill, quote, contains a giant loophole because insurance companies can simply deny coverage altogether to people with pre-existing conditions, end quote. Oh, so if you have a pre-existing condition and there's no Affordable Care Act any longer, and you apply for insurance, and you fill in the application, and the insurance company looks at, oh, this person had cancer of this or cancer of that, but it was excised and apparently cured. No, I don't think we're even going to give them a policy. That they can do, thanks to Cory Gardner. They can't say, okay, the insurance company can't say, okay, we will insure you, but not if you get cancer of your thingamajig again, or any cancer for that matter. So Cory Gardner and Mom are both lying. I wonder if Cory Gardner's poor old mom knows she's participating in her son's rotten lie. I wonder. Anyway, the current rules, which were created by Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, include, quote, guaranteed issue, end quote, which means insurance companies have to sell policies to people regardless of their health status. That's according to Larry Levitt, the guy from the Kaiser Family Foundation. He added this, quote, the Cory Gardner bill leaves out that requirement, meaning that insurance companies can deny coverage to people with pre-existing conditions as they commonly did in the individual insurance market before the Affordable Care Act, end quote. But Cory Gardner and his mom are sitting there lying through their teeth, as every single Republican senator will do the same, either with mom or without mom. They will lie through their teeth. This is what they do. Now, I kind of like this, a spokesperson for the Gardner campaign, one Megan Graff, didn't answer when she was asked if Gardner still favors the Affordable Care Act repeal, or why his bill doesn't include the guaranteed issue provision. She wouldn't say whether Gardner supports a lawsuit backed by the Trump administration to destroy the ACA to begin with in its entirety. No, they don't have to answer a campaign. Why? If Cory Gardner did back the idea of non-exclusion where it concerns pre-existing conditions, his campaign chairperson would stand on the top of whatever the highest hill in downtown Denver and screaming out for the world to hear it. Of course we back it. But being a spokesperson for Republican senatorial candidates seeking re-election, his spokeswoman's not going to say shit, nothing. Doesn't have to. Just refuse to answer. Anyway, who was it here? Was it Larry Levitt? One of these spokespersons said that Republican senators are running these ads because they read the polls that show pre-existing condition rules are popular. And they don't want to get crosswise with voters. So they lie. So the son of a bitches will just simply lie. Now, the Miller I'm talking about, that's Tom Miller, the guy that works for the American Enterprise Institute, which I wouldn't give you 10 cents for the entire institution. But he said that Republican senators are running these ads because, not because they're honest, not because they believe in the idea of covering pre-existing conditions in healthcare. Oh, no. They're doing it because they don't want to get crosswise with the voters. So therefore, this is a part that Tom Miller leaves out. Therefore, these Republican senator candidates will lie. But so easily, just like Lindsey Graham, just like Mitch McConnell, just like every one of these son of a bitches. They just lie. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to The Ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.